Hey everyone, welcome back to another exciting episode of Attack and Production. Today I, Bancroft, am being joined by a whole cast of people, and I'll mention only a couple of them because some are hiding in the shadows. Today with me is Jimmy, Austin, Fluff, and you know what, screw it. Nick and Jake is hiding somewhere as well.
Howdy.
Around maybe.
I was waiting for Fluff to say hi. There you are. God dang it.
All right. I had to unmute it. I'm so sorry. I had to unmute the fucking mic.
Oh, you had to drop the F-bomb within the first 30 seconds. Thank you.
It don't matter.
More editing on my part. But with that being said, today is our finals. As you can see, it is a King Piccolo versus Dark Broly. And as we have come to call it a
2001 WWF Betrayal game for the Game Boy Color. This is a match between Triple H and I think that's The Rock on the cover. Yeah, that's The Rock. And Bancroft is Stephanie McMahon looking very surprised in the background.
All right. And so, like always, there's buttons. If you want to click them, they're there for a reason. Thank you very much. Okay. Yesterday's video, you got to see Austin go against Nick and kind of get an idea of what the King Piccolo does. But, Jimmy, would you like to go over a little bit of how Dark Broly runs? Now, I know we've all seen Dark Broly, but you've added a few new cards to it.
So, these cards have kind of just become staples in Dark Broly now. This is not the craziest Dark Broly list. It's nothing groundbreaking. No, like, new spice. If you've seen Dark Broly run lately with the new Toa expansion cards, you kind of know what you're getting into. But it really changes the way the deck can play. And I've been a big fan of decks that have this like hybrid feel of aggression that can also play control as well. And everybody knows that Dark Broly has a very, very good late game, but it's never had a very good aggressive beginning. But these new cards have given it access to a lot of aggro, and you'll see this in this matchup how it unfolds. But I've been a huge fan of Dark Broly since it dropped, and I've only come to love it even more with these new cards. And going into this match, I knew what King Piccolo wanted to do, but I did not know exactly what Austin was going to do, which was kind of daunting starting out, because every other game I played today, or this particular event, I knew what I was stepping into, and this was the only time that I was like, don't really know what's going on. And I believe, if I'm correct, Austin, you had kind of the same sentiment of like, I don't know what Dark Broly does. This is the first time I played against it.
Oh, I've heard you talk about Dark Broly before, but my issue was I just don't have a lot of, because I didn't play much last set. And I don't know what a lot of the decks from last set, and of course, this new set, I know a little more what they do just because I read a lot of the cards. But no, for most of the stuff, like when I played against your blue baby, when I played against this, I had no idea what they did just because I wasn't playing much then. But I will say too, part of me didn't know what I wanted to do, but I did know what I wanted to do, but I didn't do it in this match as we discussed when we were playing.
Yeah, and we'll get to that. And if you watched the last video of Austin playing King Piccolo, you know that I kind of rambled on about how the deck is very skill intensive, and it's going to take a very good player to really set out the pacing that you want to do with the deck. And you can see how pacing can really hurt you if you do it incorrectly. And I'm not saying Austin's a bad player. He's an excellent player. And we have all said nice things about Austin's gameplay, especially his defensive plays, which are very, very good. But just getting into your head in a card game, any game, not just Dragon Ball, can be your biggest downfall.
Yep.
And we will see that unfold in this particular matchup. And I think it's a good example of knowing your plays and playing them out well.
My biggest advice to anyone who wants to play King Piccolo, first off, realize your deck is technically 7 life, not 6, because you get one back on Awaken. But also, do not rush yourself. If you try to rush yourself and you get, like Jimmy said, get in your head, it's going to mess you up. I was trying to rush myself, and also, this is one of the first times I've been for the first, second place, game in a very, very long time. So I was a little excited from that too. I got in my head a lot and I messed up a few times, but the best advice I can give to anyone that wants to play King Piccolo is just calm down, take a breath. This deck gives you a lot of defensive options. You just got to, so when you're on defense, you're fine. You know, you can breathe. And on offense, just take your time. Make sure you're reading what you want to do. You have so many ways to get your Demon Clans out, so many ways to get the dual attack Double Striker out. I was telling Jimmy in the middle of this match, I realized a few ways I can get it out very easy without doing the predictable tambourine into the rare King Piccolo that's from the set, then into the super rare. There's a lot of ways you can do your pathing, and just take your time and just play smart.
So right there, I kind of whiffed on a ball. I was trying to get the Warpy Boy Broly to get rid of your piano for good. Because if you don't know what piano does, when it's removed from the battle area, you can flip one of your face up, life face down, and then play him back out. So I already warped him once with the Demigra, and I was going to try to get the other Broly that you can see in my energy. I was trying to grab that one from the deck and warp him out for good. But I whiffed because the last one, I believe, was in my life.
Is piano
or I might have,
that when you play it draws or something like that?
Was that?
Piano. When piano is normally played, what's its effect?
So a piano's effect is whenever once per turn, when you flip a card and your life face up, it's not from your life. So if you place a card from your hand and your life face up, or from your deck face up, which is incredibly easy to do with this deck, once per turn you draw a card.
Gotcha. Okay.
So on the Awakened Leader side, you have an activate battle once per turn where you put a card from your deck into your life face up, then you combo with a red Demon Clan or red Namekian. And so you automatically get a draw from that. That's activate battle, so you're pretty much guaranteed to get a draw every turn.
Gotcha. Okay.
And I don't think you have your warp on screen. I think it's off your mat a little bit, but you did warp a card off of the Demigra swing.
I did, yeah. I placed my drop area a little weird just because so my arms, I placed them kind of on my mat a little bit, and it always messes up my drop area and it slides around. So I put my drop area above my deck just to avoid that kind of confusion in matches. And so my warp usually goes off the mat to the side whenever I play.
Yeah, I just want to make sure that was known that he didn't just miss that drop off of the Demigra.
Also, I've never seen you bring out Demigra. Oh my god! On turn 2, that was interesting.
Yeah, I kind of knew what I was going into with King Piccolo in the early game. I just didn't know what was going to happen in the later game. So I felt pretty safe tapping out to put Demigra out there, and I did get good hits off of my drop area or off of my leader effect. So I had the means to put Demigra on build with Dark Overrealm to have him stick. Yeah,
no, that was a smart play, because the deck doesn't do a whole lot turn 1, turn 2. People think this and they read oh, it's going to be a very aggro deck. It's more mid-range, I think, than anything, because the early game, it can be pretty defensive or it can be pretty offensive, just because, like I mentioned in the last video I was in for me versus Nick, the only 1+10,000s I have in my deck are Piccolo Jr. from the draft box set, the red-green one. Every other battle card is 0+5,000. So you have that, you have Wolfang Fist you can play for free if you have a Unison out, you have the After Image Technique, you have so many cards that you don't have to pay energy for or you can easily combo with, that Piccolo actually has a surprisingly really good defensive game.
Yeah. So right here, playing the Topo was very smart because you thwarted my Demigra swing and you were getting out of 2 Broly swings, because I would have swung with Broly, then restood with the 7 drop, which if you don't know what it does, if your opponent has 3 or more life, they choose one battle card from their hand, battle area, and drop and send it to the warp. If they send 2 or less, you crit them a life. So in a situation like that, they can just choose to not just choose 0 on all of that and then just crit the life. And you would have got attacked by that, would have got attacked by Demigra and the leader, and then followed up with a heartfelt plea.
I was actually going to say, depending on what's in your hand, Topo may help you, though, because you could discard certain cards to turn around and use your 6-drop Brolys in your drop to play.
I think it actually kind of does right here.
I do want to say this real quick before we get too far past it. I made a weird move here. He played Heartfelt Bleed. I took the crit from my life instead of having him draw 2 cards. Yeah. because I did not want him to keep swinging with Topo, and because with King Piccolo you get a life back when you. And I knew what that life was. I knew it was a kami, so I wasn't that weirded out by it, So I was like, okay, cool, it's whatever. I'm just gonna crit it, and then as you see here, I awaken, and so it's like that life never went away, and I just didn't want him to have more cards in his hand. And right here is when I mentioned earlier I start messing up a little bit. But go ahead and see what you're saying, Jimmy.
Not much else to say here. I believe you did help me get my blocker Broly onto the field by making me drop that one Toa card, and also got the other Heartfelt Plea out of my hand, which would have been clunky in the game. I guess it wouldn't be bad to keep it in hand for combo and also bluffing more cards in my hand than I could really use. Mm-hmm. But it did enable the 6-drop Broly to hit the field, or another 6-drop Broly. If I had the means to do so, I probably would have went ahead and swung with the Demigra and also dropped cards to possibly put more Brolys out. And if you're unfamiliar with that 7-drop Broly, it's also treated as black in all areas, so it does play into your chain easily, or your Broly effects easily, which is super nice.
The Dark Brolys, it's just 6 black battle cards, right?
6 black battle cards, yep.
Okay.
Yep.
I will say, like, with playing against Dark Broly, you hear that, like, you see how it tops a whole lot, but I told Jimmy playing against it, I never felt, like, really truly oppressed. It's just like, this is a really good matchup. Like, it was really fun. Like, I learned quite a bit. I didn't feel like it was incredibly unfair. Like, it just felt like he just played really well. He obviously knew what he was doing. He plays this deck quite a bit, and I didn't know he did too much, like I said earlier in the video, but it was a nice learning experience. I really actually enjoyed playing against it. I wasn't frustrated or anything. I wasn't like, oh, this deck's dumb kind of thing. It was really fun to play.
I think it's kind of the sentiment over Dark Broly overall, because you don't see as many ban Dark Broly as you do the ban Red Broly or ban X card from other deck. Mm-hmm. Which, I mean, I'm sure there are people that are salty over Dark Broly, and Dark Broly does have a very, very good late game where you get to the point where you're getting attacked with every Broly twice in one turn from restanding on your starter turn, swinging all 3 Broly, swinging with lead, comboing them all off, and playing them all back from your drop area. Like, it gets to the point where those 30k swings are absolutely devastating. But it still feels fair, at least while playing it. I never felt when I was playing Dark Broly that I'm just like completely shutting out my opponent and my opponent has nothing they can do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it just felt pretty balanced. Like I said, some people will probably disagree with me, but this is the first time I played against it. And usually when you play against a deck and you don't have an idea, you're like, well, that was crazy. Like, how did they do that? But I was like, oh, that makes sense. That makes sense. Oh, that's cool. Like, I was never like, I didn't feel overly pressed. I felt pressure, but like in a good way. Like, you're playing against a good player like Jimmy is. It wasn't like he was like, it wasn't because the deck was so insane. It's just Jimmy knew what he was doing with this deck. He did it really well, and he just played a really good game with this.
And I appreciate the words, man.
Of course. And like I mentioned earlier, this is when I started getting in my head right around here, and I started messing up. So when it comes up, I'm trying to see where I'm here trying to think of what I want to do. So I swing with Tambourine, because Tambourine, what he does, if you have 3 face-up life, or you have a specified 2-cost unison in play with a card underneath it, he restands and gets plus 5,000 power, so he's like a pseudo dual attack. And then with here, I use Attack of the Demon Clan, or as like Jim likes to call it, Goku beating up Krillin. And
correction, is Goku beating the shit out of Krillin?
And so here I was like, you know what, I'm good. I just need to get that drum. I need to play, for my life. I'm good. And then I can go out and I can get my dual attack, double strike, King Piccolo for my hand and play, because I have enough energy, because it's 40,000 or more. And I was like, I'm good. I got this. I can -10 one of his cards to the drum. I guess this is great. And then for some reason, I'm going here. I combo with the Tambourine, forgetting that it's unique. And I just got in my head so much, so I was thinking, you swung the Tambourine already. You're good. You're 20k. And I got in my head way too much with this. And as you'll see, like I go to combo with him, put it in my battle area, and Jimmy's like, "Yo, it's unique, isn't it?" And I'm like, "God."
I when he done it, I kind of realized it as soon as he picked the symbol from his deck and put it into his life. I was like, okay, like he's got a game plan here. Like like I said, I was not super familiar with King Piccolo. I kind of knew what it wanted to do, especially in the early game, but not really so much the late game. And I was like, okay, he's got some like spice. He's about to blow up on me because he's choosing that symbol. And then once he played it, I was like, oh shit, like, I think he just fucked up.
Yeah, no, it was a big misplay. And I was like, they cost me the game. And then I was so frustrated. Like, this is where I messed up. I lost, and I was getting so frustrated. And then Jimmy's like, hey, we can, we're talking about options. I'm like, no, let's just keep going. I don't want to call it here. Let's just keep doing it.
Yeah, I mean, like I offered like, hey, like let's just run that back. Play it how you would have, and you're like, nah, I'm cool. Like, And I think that's one step of becoming a better player in this game is not taking back your mistakes and forcing yourself to sit with them and learn from them. Which our locals are very lax. We're all friends. Like if you went, hey, I want to take that back, can I? I'd be like, yeah, go ahead, bro. It's no big deal. But I mean, you took it. You were like, yeah, I fucked up. I'm gonna play it. And I do something similar later in the game, not as devastating as your play, but I was like, you were like, yeah, go ahead and take it back. I was like, no, you know what? You didn't take yours back. I'm going to keep mine.
Yeah, and so my whole game plan was because the 6-drop King Piccolo SR, and this new set double strike, dual attack, deflect. It's 40,000 power or more. Mike Tambourine's got 20. Piano's got 4,000. King Piccolo Obsession, that's what I call the one drop, 4,000, the Obsession. And then you play the drum or the cymbal, and they're 15,000. So that's, over 40,000 that you need. And then I think it's actually 41,000, and I could have played him, and I was so hyped. I was like, man, I got this. I can get that out really easy. And then I just messed up, and then I do another little mess up later on that I'll point out. But yeah, it's just I really believe in if you're messing up and you want to be a better player, stick to your mistakes. Like say, hey, no, I screwed up. This is where I learned, because I learned a lot from keeping those mistakes. That's when I gave that, warning, hey, just pace yourself. Don't get too rushed, because I was getting too rushed.
And like, right here, I was trying to pace myself out. I was trying to bait out some negates. And that's what ended up, I also kind of got into my head as well, where I was playing to the idea of you using a negate. And I was so sure of myself that when you didn't use a negate, I still went on with the play that I was going to use.
Yeah.
And I mean, we'll get to it. I think it's like right after this play.
Yeah, because here's my other mistakes. So I combo with the symbol, which is fine, because you can put a card in your life and combo with the Demon Clan, but I should have comboed with the drum, because the drum is blocker. And the symbol, what it does is you play it and you put a Demon Clan from a red Demon Clan in your drop area underneath your unison, give it a marker, and then you draw one card. And what I wanted to do was I wanted to get the drum out. I wanted to -10 his demi-graw, and then I wanted to have that blocker out. And I didn't do it right there. I just drew the card. And then I was like, I messed up in the sequencing again, because you have so many cool things you can do with that whole step. That's why I love this deck. There's a lot of cool sequencing you can do, a lot of fun stuff, but you really just have to make sure you're playing it really well and not rushing.
For sure. And you taking that life right there is what completely threw off my game plan, and I just completely ignored the fact that you took that life when I went on with the rest of my turn. Which it really didn't change much. I would have just had extra energy open for the play. So my original game plan is that I was going to cast the
real quick,
the Dark Broly from the drop. Yeah.
Is Demigra's Wind Swing is just a card from hand, right?
Yes.
Okay, cool. Just making sure. Because we can't see the war. We just wanted to verify that. That's all.
Yeah, it's just one card from hand. It would be absurd if it was anything more. But I was going to play the Broly, warp one of your battle cards. I was going to swing with it and then activate the red Broly that I have in my hand to X-Ball for 2, restand, and swing again. But the issue is that your opponent has to be at 3 or more life. And I look up, see he's at 1 life, go, I can't do that. And for whatever reason, I still just pay 2 energy and play it on top of the card. Like right here. I don't know why I did it. I just got too into my head about it. And I was like, oh shit, I can't do that. Like I was like, I was like, I literally just said to myself, I can't do that. Why am I doing this? And you were like, yeah, go ahead and take it back. I was like, nah, like, I'm gonna play it. You didn't take back yours. I'm gonna spend the 2 energy and keep it on the field.
It's like you said, something I love about our locals is we're all incredibly honest. Like we're all friends. We love playing with each other. We're all very honest. We help each other be better players, and that's what really kept me in this game and keep going. If it wasn't for this community, when I got really kind of bored with the previous sets, I would have quit. But I love playing with you guys, and it's just been a lot of fun, and I'm just glad I have this community to play with.
Yeah, I've been really happy with how the community has grown, at least at our locals, and I'm just happy to have people to play with because I enjoy playing this game so much.
Oh, for sure. The community is definitely the best part.
Yeah. Overall, the entire community, even outside of our locals, has been fantastic. I've never had a more welcoming community for any of the hobbies that I've been into.
Ah, yes, the double strike.
The double strike.
Yeah, I kind of...
It's a legal card.
What?
It's the legal version.
I don't know what you're talking about, bro. The French version is the only version you're allowed to play. All the other Champas are banned.
Are you playing a banned card then?
Yeah, I'm playing a banned card.
Just making sure. So you lost, actually.
Yeah, I actually lost this matchup because our locals has any version of Further Instruction Champa that's not French is banned. It's a rule just for the betterment of the community.
Are you gonna give Austin that promo card then?
Austin, do you want the shitty 3-drop Go Tanks?
I'm good, thank you.
Yeah, didn't think so. So I'm gonna keep using it as a coaster.
Right there at the end, we said we wanted to run it back, and I was like, no, we'll keep playing, and at the end we'll talk it out. And then Jimmy's like, no, I had 2 negates, one being a power burst, and I don't know what one you had. You're like, and I was gonna sparking one. I was like, okay, I wouldn't have got the attacks anyways, and I wouldn't have won.
It would have significantly changed my later turns. I don't think it changed the overall effect of the game.
Yeah.
Because what I probably would have done in that matchup, instead of just going hard and trying to finish the game on that clapback turn, I would have played Meki Kabura from my hand and called 6-drop King Piccolo.
You mentioned that after the duel, yeah.
Yeah, and that would have at least kept me alive for another turn, and I don't think Austin could have developed the defensive hand that he needed to deal with all of the 30k swings. And at that point in the Dark Broly matchup, Dark Broly is setting on the ability to at least put 2 more Dark Brolys out after wiping the field with the leader activate battle.
Yeah, I definitely think once the Piccolo Jr., the King Scion comes out, that deck's gonna have so much more defensive capabilities because you'll have the unison outs. That way, you're gonna want to have that unison out more. Like, it's not really pivotal right now to this deck to keep the unison out. It just helps a little bit. It's not like it doesn't change like the whole. You don't have to play it to win, and with the King Scion, you have to have a unison out, and if you have a unison out with like Red King Piccolo leader, it's a free counter, and then it comes in you in Respo, but then it's a double striker or a blocker, for 20k, and it's really good. Then you have the Wolf Fang Fist. You have some defensive options after that the deck can just turn defensive, in a moment's notice. So once those Scion comes out, I think the deck is going to get a huge buff it needs.
So, with that being said, thank you all for tuning in. I know I didn't mention this in any of the other videos from this week, but all the profiles, for the exception of Jimmy's, will be actually next week if you guys are interested in that, because we just didn't have time to record everyone, and I think a lot of people are still tweaking theirs. Like, I'm still tweaking my slug. Jake's still tweaking his deck. Nick just left. He just likes to leave early. It's weird.
That was Jake leaving. You just called out Nick for no reason.
Surprise, I'm still here.
But we'll get those up as soon as possible if you guys are interested in those profiles. And with that being said, let's just see who may still be in this lobby with that by going to the last words. Sure, Jake.
Jake left. I literally just said that.
Oh, I didn't catch that. I didn't catch it. I thought you were referring to because I know also Jake bailed early on Saturday as well. So I thought you were referencing that. Nick.
Yeah, I got something to say. Jimmy called out my high-level solitaire plays in the last video, so if you guys want to see it, leave a comment if you want to see some solitaire play.
Austin?
No, man. Like I said, I was really excited that I got a second place in this event. This is my first time bringing King Piccolo out to an actual tournament. I've been testing it at home quite a bit, and I love the deck, and I'm so excited to play more with you guys.
Jimmy, do you have anything to say to the people at home or anyone else besides me?
Besides you don't want any of my wrath directed directly to you?
Well, last video you said you had nothing to say to me, so I figured that just continues on.
I mean, things change.
Within 30 minutes?
No, it's been a day.
Oh, sorry. It's been a whole day. I'm sorry. Gosh.
Dude, you're breaking the illusion.
You
that
broke the fourth wall
on the
You've
day
broken
that.
that so many
God.
times.
Shut up.
Damn it, Bancroft.
Last words now.
We're firing Bancroft as the head editor. We're gonna hire another one, a better one that's actually gonna put our dumb jokes into the video. So everybody say farewell to Bancroft. You'll never hear him again, or send him off to pasture.
You know what's funny is that they probably didn't hear a single word you just said. You might need to say
Yeah,
that again.
because you're gonna edit it out like a big poon head.
It's gonna be
Like-
seal noises.
I think it was actually. I think it takes the in Charlie Brown, like when the adults are talking, to go.
Oh, yeah. I just want to over it.
With that being said, Fluff, will you lead us out?
Pretty sure someone's decks touched during this duel. There was a lot of like heartfelt, heart-touched things happening within all this. Read your cards, know your plays. Fluff out.